So Jasmine Crockett went on The View this week, and let me tell you, it was a masterclass in saying everything wrong with a smile on your face and a fire tweet waiting in your drafts. Now don't get me wrong, she's got a seat in Congress, Texas no less. That means she represents the same state that gave us Juneteenth, a real and raw moment in American history. But instead of honoring that with grace and reflection, she decided to use the platform of The View to play the same old liberal piano. Trump rolled back rights, Republicans are evil, we're oppressed beyond reason.
Today we're celebrating Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Tell me about Juneteenth.
Listen, now I'm a Texan.
Yeah, you are.
So I feel like the rest of the country is just now kind of getting tuned in.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that being a Black woman, and for those that don't understand Juneteenth, this was about the fact that the last slaves down in Texas finally, 2 years later, realized that, or were made aware that they were no longer enslaved people. But in this time, though, especially with the anti-DEI movement and the rollback just of our civil rights and our civil liberties as a whole, as well as ignoring the Constitution, and there's so many rights that Black folk got specifically just from the Constitution, I think that this Juneteenth, everyone, whether you're Black or otherwise, should really evaluate what does freedom look like in this country? And are we willing to fight for it? And I think, you know, evaluating what happened at No Kings, I think we are ready and willing to fight for our freedom. But I think that it is important that we come together and we define what freedom looks like for those of us in this country, not just Black folk.
Same song, different verse. Here's the irony. She's sitting on a daytime TV show watched by millions. She's one of the most outspoken and visible Black women in politics today. She holds real power. But she's telling you that the system is rigged and broken beyond repair, while actively benefiting from the very system she claims is out to get her. It's like complaining about the food while you're eating steak and lobster. Jasmine Crockett told The View that Trump's presidency hurt Black and brown people. Okay, that's your opinion. But let's talk facts. Under Trump, unemployment for Black Americans reached historic lows. Funding for HBCUs was boosted. First Step Act, criminal justice reform actually passed. But instead of acknowledging any nuance, she painted the entire GOP with the brush of hate and racism, then acted shocked when people roll their eyes. Here's what they never want to talk about. Freedom means you get to succeed or fail. And yes, America, flawed and messy as she is, still allows Black Americans to become billionaires, CEOs, congresswomen, you name it. Jasmine Crockett is living proof of that. But instead of saying, look how far we've come, she doubles down on we're still in chains. And then of course came Juneteenth. Now you'd think she'd use her platform to uplift what Juneteenth actually is, a day that marks the end of slavery in Texas, and a symbolic step forward in our national story. But instead she used it as another weapon to divide, suggesting that modern conservatives are the new oppressors. Newsflash, Juneteenth isn't about partisanship. It's about progress, real progress. Let's clear the air on the myth though. You've heard it, the slaves in Texas didn't know they were free for 2 years. Not quite true. Many did know. But freedom on paper didn't always mean a better life the next day. Some stayed put not because they were ignorant, but because they were practical. Where were they gonna go? What were they gonna do? The world outside the plantation wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet. Some former slaves worked out sharecropping deals. Some stayed to protect their families. And some just didn't trust the change. That's not stupidity. That's survival. But you won't hear that on The View. You'll hear they were lied to. They were kept dumb. Always the victim narrative, never the nuance.
Do you feel safe as an elected official in this political climate?
No, not at all. I mean, here's the deal. I do this job, and the fact that my safety is a part of doing this job is really bad in and of itself. But while we spend millions upon millions just so that this guy can go and golf, or while they spent $45 million for his little birthday parade, you know, like, I'm just saying, can we reprioritize some of those dollars? When they killed our continuing resolution this last time, one of the things they didn't take out is that they had included an additional, I believe, $10 million to protect non-justices. I'm like, listen, I'm not even asking for $1 million, but can we get something? Because we have nothing.
Jasmine's whole segment reeked of a dangerous idea that only her side of the aisle gets to define morality. That if you're a Republican, you're wrong. You're racist. You're backward. That Democrats are always the enlightened ones. But here's the truth. No political party has a monopoly on virtue. Not one. And when you act like your side can't possibly be wrong, you stop listening. You stop learning. You stop leading. which is exactly what we saw from Crockett. The left wants to turn Juneteenth into a brand, a commercial, another chance to say we're the good guys. But the real power of Juneteenth is in what it asks us to reflect on freedom, responsibility, and what we do once we have both. Because being free isn't easy. It takes work. And sometimes freedom means hearing things you don't like, things that challenge you, things like this podcast. So next time someone like Jasmine Crockett hits a national stage and tells you the sky is falling, ask them how they got to that microphone in the first place. Was it oppression? Or was it opportunity? This is the filthy wall. Don't just listen. Think, then speak.